Krishna. Thank you to the Jai Nitai Kirtan Band today. Welcome to Bhagavat Sravana. My name is Jenna, and I'll be your hostess this morning. We are here every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock for Kirtan and class at 11:30. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, bring them all next time. So Jai Nitai did Kirtan for us. He's also setting up a microphone so that he can speak into it. Let me tell you a little about him. He's an arrogant, condescending oh no, I'm sorry, this is not Jai Nitai.
That's the right one?
No, that's the wrong one that you sent me. Here it is, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, just a few things about Jai Nitai. He heads up the community care office with his good wife here at Bhakti Center. He coordinates festivals here. He was handpicked by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj to come here from London to build the community at Bhakti Center.
No pressure.
No pressure. The pressure comes from the Maharaj, not me, Prabhu. But you can see him doing so many things here. He's one of these rare birds. Like, he's so competent at so many things. Anything he lends his hand to, he does extremely well. He's very smart. He's very devotional. He's very kind-hearted. He's got one of the biggest hearts I've ever come across, extending himself for others all the time. And we're so fortunate to have him at Bhakti Center, with the speaker speaking here this morning. He did serve as the temple president at London Soho Temple for 14 years before he went to go serve at the Manor. And now he's here. But not only here, he's also serving, doing things at Radha Govinda Mandir in Brooklyn. He's also taken on a considerable amount of management chores and hands-on duties at Matchless Gifts at 26 2nd Avenue. Please join me in welcoming His Grace, Jai Nitai.
I'd like to read the one that I wrote.
It's here, you guys not to struggle, you have to go.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for being here this evening, or this afternoon, rather. And feeling exceptionally embarrassed after that introduction. So thank you for your encouragement, and please pray for me. I would like to take this opportunity to especially welcome back Her Grace Akanta Bhakti Devi, who's been traveling into war-torn parts of the world to give love to those that she cares about, and we're happy that she's made it back safely and is now here to give love to all of us. So thank you very much, Akanta Bhakti Devi Ki.
Jai.
So let's see. I was really torn about what to speak on today, but I'm glad that I chose community, especially after that introduction. There's a lot of things around this idea of community and unity and diversity, which can be one of the main challenging points about having a community. So I thought we could start first by chanting the Mangala prayers to create for myself at least a proper atmosphere. And then we're going to read a little bit of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we'll discuss. Om Aganatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamilitam Gena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Gena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabhavantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Vikakanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gurange Radhe Vrindavadishwari Vishanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpataru Yascha Kripa Sindhu Yevacha Patitana Pavarevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Darshan Prabhupada Ki Jai. Antakuni Vaishnava Ki Jai. So, just before I start, just curious, is there anyone who's here for the very first time? Okay, wonderful. Anyone who's here for the second time? Okay, perfect. And anyone who's here for the third time? Okay. I'm only here for the fourth time. So after your third time, you get to give the talk, okay? So we're here for the first time. Get ready. Okay, so we're going to read from a book called the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the preface to the Bhagavatam, which is a very wonderful, extraordinary book. Those of you who are here for the first time. And also as a reminder to everyone else, I like to remind myself that the Bhagavatam was a book that was spoken at a time of dire need, because there was a great king who had been cursed to die, and he knew that he had exactly 7 days to live. So you can, if you can imagine for just one moment what it must be like to get notification that your death is impending, and you know that you have exactly 7 days to live. Actually, in England, our youth group, they went around once and they did this interview called 24 Hours to Live. And they asked people on the street, if you had only 24 hours to live, what would you do? And they were being serious to people, and people were like, kind of taking it seriously a little bit. What do you think the top answer was? If you had 24 hours to live, yes, what do you think?
Spending time with your family.
Spend time with your family. That was about 5 or 6. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to take a guess what you think the top answer was?
Vacation.
Huh?
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life was up there, yes. Because they were just asking generic people on the street, you know. The number one answer was go shopping. And that was followed by max out my credit card. Because I know I won't have to pay it, basically. And then 3 and 4 I can't repeat in public. And so like that. But people weren't really in, at least that's somewhat good consciousness, right? Go spend time with the people that you love. So this great king, Parikshit, he got notification that he was going to depart from this world in 7 days. And what he decided to do was go to the bank of the Ganges, because he was in India, to go to the bank of the Ganga, the Ganges, and seek out spiritual knowledge. He was going to fast and meditate until he actually understood what the real purpose of his life had been. Now, this was a man who had opulence beyond anything we can imagine, riches and wonderful family, so many things, but he decided that actually at the moment of death, the most important thing is to understand what is the goal of life, what is the purpose of life. So this is the entire Bhagavatam. Now the Bhagavatam is like, and I guess a lot of people here don't even know what Encyclopedia Britannica is. Only those people with a few gray hairs. So, so now everything's online. You know what the Encyclopedia Britannica is? So they used to go door to door, remember, and sell them. And so it was like this big book. So the Bhagavatam is exactly like that. It's everything that was spoken in those 7 days. So they did a lot of speaking, not a lot of sleeping, not a lot of eating or anything else. They just literally talked and conversed about what is the goal of life, what is the purpose of me being here. So like that. So this is the preface to that book by the author, Swami Prabhupada, who is situated here with us, personally present. He translated over 60 volumes of books from Sanskrit into English. And yeah, it really came to the West and gave us an immense gift. So we'll take turns reading if we have that mic. Maybe, would you mind, Mr. MC? MC Yadu? Is that what you said, Yadu or Yadu?
Sure.
MC Yadu, please. So would you like to start?
We must know the present need of human society. And what is that need? Human society is no longer bounded by geographical limits to particular countries or communities. Human society is broader than in the Middle Ages, and the world tendencies toward one state or one human society.
The ideals of spiritual communism, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, are based more or less on the oneness of the entire human society, nay, of the entire energy of living beings. The need is felt by great thinkers to make this a successful ideology. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need in human society. It begins, therefore, with an aphorism of Vedanta philosophy, Chamadi Asya Yakuna, to establish the ideal of a common cause.
Okay, so just reading from this, just to keep us all on the same page, because sometimes when we start to read, it's like a lot of words on a page, and what does it all mean? So anyone can reflect back a little bit and give a synopsis of what they're picking up from the beginning of this preface here? Anything stands out to you?
I think it's about talking about how the world is becoming one.
How the world's becoming one?
Yeah, it's not Puerto Rican, Dominican, American, it's one whole human. One
Beautiful.
people.
Yes. And do we see that happening? I mean, just look around the room. We see that that's happening just here in this room. We have people from probably at least, I would say, maybe 5 to 6 or more different countries of origin. So yeah, so that's definitely something. Thank you for picking up on that. What is your name?
Rosie.
Rosie. Okay, so Rosie. Anyone else? Any thoughts? The world is becoming one.
Simply saying that the Bhagavatam will serve as that unifying
Agent.
Agent.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very nice. So it's saying that this book can actually help to create cohesion between these different organizations and societies, social communities, let's say, something like that. Yeah, so Prabhupada is talking here a lot about the need of human society, and it sounds like, in one sense, that the Bhagavatam is actually something that is for everyone. Do we kind of pick up on that? It's not something that's specific to one group or one institution or one generation even. It's actually for the whole of society. And Janmadyasya yataha, what does that mean? What is Janmadyasya yataha? What is that aphorism?
I don't know the exact translation.
Means that Janmadyasya yataha means that there's one origin for everything. Everything has come ultimately from one place. It's all come from one place. Janmadyasya yataha. So the Bhagavatam starts with that aphorism, that everything is coming from the same place, which means that we all have a common cause. We all have a common cause, so we all have something in common. Yes, sir.
Actually, one other thing was that he's also saying that, beyond Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Americans, but it's beyond the human species.
Okay, beautiful, yeah. So it's even
The
beyond.
entire energy of living beings.
Lovely. Thank you for pulling that out. The entire energy of living beings, which includes even the trees, plants, bugs, birds, beasts, all of the above. Yeah.
Rocks as well?
Rats and cockroaches included.
No, I said rocks.
Oh, rocks.
I don't like to think of roaches.
Okay, yeah. Okay. We'll retract that one then. But rocks. Well, this is an interesting question. Are rocks actually living beings? One can debate on that in different ways. Generally, the understanding of something that is living, it goes through 6 transformations. Means it comes into being. It's born. It stays for some time. It grows, creates some byproducts, dwindles, and eventually deteriorates and dies. So we see rocks they definitely stay for some time. We don't know at which point they were actually born. They don't seem to grow often, but they may dwindle. So it's kind of a debatable thing. But usually we would say rocks don't usually have kind of a living element within them. Does that make sense? Like a plant, you can see it kind of is born, comes from the seed, grows, and like that. So anyway, the entire energy of living beings. Okay, so the next one. We're back to, yes.
Human society at the present moment is not in the darkness of oblivion. It has made rapid progress in the fields of material comforts, education, and economic development throughout the entire world. But there is a pinprick somewhere in the social body at large, and therefore there are large-scale quarrels, even over less important issues.
Any thoughts on this? Anyone? Anything stands out? The thing that always gets me here, and I love this, is that there's a pinprick. There's a pinprick in human society. Means that no matter how good it gets, there's always something that's not quite right. Isn't it? Haven't you seen people who seem to have everything that life could offer and they still have a tendency to complain about things? It reminds me of like if you get a new shirt and you know you have to cut the tag off, and you get one end of the tag but the other end just stays stuck in the shirt, and it's got this little plastic bit, and every time you put the shirt on you're like this. You know that uncomfortable thing? Or it reminds me of the princess and the pea story. Do you know that? Like they put this pea under 100 mattresses she's sleeping on, and still she feels that uncomfortable thing. So no matter how comfortable we try to make life, it seems like there's always something that is uncomfortable. Am I the only person that experiences that? Has anyone else here had that experience? Yeah. You know, it's like, you mentioned family. Families are wonderful, but aren't there always some issues in the family?
I got into it with my youngest today. I'm like, I can't do this right now. I gotta go. I gotta do someplace at 11.
Exactly. There's always something that's not quite, we go, anyway, like that. So at work, we might have a great job, but then it's the boss, or it's the new person, or it's the printer, or it's this. There's always some problem. Okay, so we continue here.
There is need of clue as to how
Please come in.
humanity can become one in peace, friendship, and prosperity with a common cause. The Bhagavatam will fill this need, for it is a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society.
Wow. Okay, anything standing out to anyone there? Well, nice to have you here. Is it your first time?
Yes.
Okay. It's only my third time, so we'll be here in a few weeks. Nice to see you. Anything? Yes? You were raising your hand? You can give her the mic back also.
Okay, I think like one of like the big problems with society is that they've stripped us of like what is like sacred, like we're in like community and like nature, like those are the three big things that like are being like taken away. And so like really like when we're talking about unity, like we should be trying to come back into communion with like the sacred, and that starts like on a individual, like a personal basis, but also like within, like we all need to personally be doing that, like within community. It's really helpful. So this seems like a text that is supposed to can like infuse us back with some spiritual nourishment.
Beautiful. And just in case everyone's wondering, no, I didn't pay her to come here and say that. What is your name?
Angelica.
Angelica. Where is that name from? Angelica.
It was my great grandmother's Cuban.
Okay, beautiful. Nice to have you with us, Angelica. And beautiful answer. You said three things. You said nature, community, and what was the third one?
The sacred.
Oh, yes, we're being stripped of that what is sacred for us. This is beautiful. Yeah, I really like this last line. It's a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. A cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. So it sounds like the Bhagavatam is pretty important, right? Would you say? It sounds like it's the Bhagavatam, the book itself has a big mission, or at least the author has a big mission for the book himself. And I think it also has a lot to do with community and putting the sacred back into that which it has been stripped out of. So, as we know, there's not a lot of connectivity. And I appreciate you also mentioned nature. And many years ago, I was very inspired by a talk. I think it was either a letter or a delivery that was given by, I think his name is Chief Seattle. Anyone's ever heard of him? He wrote or delivered this message to the kind of leaders of the American government, and this was some years after they had come and done so many things, and of course the indigenous people, the Indian people had been placed into so many things. And anyway, in his lecture, in his talk, he explains that, you kind of see it all as individual things, the land, the trees, the sky, the rivers, He said, but we see that they're all connected. They're all connected with the divine. And you can't just come and individually take the resources and think that you can exploit them and find happiness. It just won't work. So we're trying to let you know that it won't work, so you should stop. But we don't think you're going to stop. But we just want to let you know that this is going to end in pain, kind of thing. It was really, really profound. So when you said nature, I really, really connected. So, what does community mean to you? Since this topic has come up, Srila Prabhupada is speaking in the Bhagavatam about the whole of human society, and we understand that it's trying to bring everyone together in a cohesive manner, and someone mentioned community. So what does community mean to you? Who has the mic? Rosie. What does community, there you go. You won the award. What does community mean to you, Rosie?
I don't need the mic, my voice is very loud. Community to me, I guess, just means a group of people who accept each other.
Beautiful. Okay, a group of people who accept each other. Okay, means, as my grandmother used to say, warts and all, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else's grandmother said that. So, what else? Any other thoughts on community? What do you think about community, Sri Rupa Devi? I know you just walked in and have no idea what we're talking about, but I know you have a lot of input for us.
I mean, I was just adding on to what Rosie said, accepts each other and supports each other.
Beautiful. Thank you for adding that. That's really important. Yes. Anyone else? Anything else? Community? Yes.
A good sense of common ground.
A good sense of common ground. Okay, yeah, so we have some common ground, and you're saying a good sense of it.
Because it's not perfect, isn't it?
Okay.
It's far from perfect.
Yeah.
This whole thing is transformative and makes it more of a community.
Okay, so it's transformative, and that makes it more of a community. Yes, who would like to share? This young lady here.
I was just going to say sharing the same values and having mutual respect.
Okay, beautiful. So sharing the same values and having mutual respect. Very similar, but also sharing, you're saying, is sort of a value system.
Yes.
But would you hear mentioned common ground?
Yes.
So we have something that we're all sharing. Okay, beautiful. So for me, just the word community means this. It's common unity. It means we basically all have something in common, something that we center around. So we have that in common, and that creates unity. So it means even in the workplace, even if you hate work, right? But all of the people working there, they all have, it's a community, because you all have something in common. So in the same way, different communities, families may not always get along, but there's something in common. They say blood is thicker than water, or you're all born from the same place, or you support the same football team. There's a common thing that unites you. So some years ago, I was living in London and was in the temple there, and I found myself in the middle of this big kirtan, and I was dancing and holding hands with this gentleman, and we were spinning around, and I was probably about 28, and he was probably in his early 50s, and I was from America, he was from Russia. We were surrounded by people from many different countries in the middle of London, and somehow while I'm spinning around, it came to my mind that I think I found the real common unity here. We're all united around this one thing, Janmadyasya Yataha, this thing that has been our original cause. And because of that, so many boundaries are down. Because I grew up in the middle of the Cold War, it's like where it was Russia's bad, and Russia, they're thinking America's bad, and all this stuff is just like created. But actually here we were just like all barriers down, just like having such a good time, and it didn't depend on any of these externals, There was a different value system or a common ground that had connected us. So it'd be good to see what Srila Prabhupada has to say about these things. So he mentions this in this formation, and one thing also, because there are quite a few new people here, just to understand a little bit about Srila Prabhupada. So, at the age of, we can just say 70, he left India. Now, I don't think there's probably anyone in the room who's 70, but maybe someone who just came in. But at the age of 70, I mean, I'm just a little over 50, and I'm thinking, you know, I don't want to get on a ship and go to someplace I don't know with no money and try to give spiritual knowledge or wisdom. And that's what he did. He basically left India. He was penniless, more or less. All he had was the first volume of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he had this firm faith. And he had the order of his spiritual master, his teacher, his guru had instructed him to teach this wisdom in the West, in the English language. And so with this absolute faith, he came to the West, and with this box of Bhagavatams kind of thing, and he wound up in the Lower East Side of New York, just around the corner from here, in a small center, and people started to come in here. And slowly, over the course of about 12 years, he wound up circling the globe 14 times and opening over 108 centers across the entire world. So it just shows the potency of this Bhagavatam. And actually, from this Bhagavatam, so many nations were united and one large community created, so like that. So we like to refer to whatever Srila Prabhupada has to say and hear from him. And he also is responsible for starting this international society. In fact, his goal was to start an international society. Jai Shri Radha Murli Ki Jai. In fact, just around the corner, we were just reading the other day with about, 12 or 15 young kind of hippies. They signed the papers to incorporate the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And all of them were like, hey, Swamiji, what is this international stuff? There's only about 15 of us. But his vision was like out there into the universe. You know, he could see everything that was coming. In fact, he told one person that merely time separates from all of these things manifesting. So, because of that, we see that whatever Srila Prabhupada has to say, and he was responsible for creating this whole structure. So, so here's the first thing. Who has the mic now? Okay, you got the mic. What is your name?
Swasti.
Swasti.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very auspicious. Okay, is the mic on? Would you like to read, Swasti?
I think the mic's on, yes.
Perfect. Okay, go for it.
Read what's out there on the thing.
Yeah, please.
The materialist, without being able to adjust the varieties and the disagreements, makes everything zero. They cannot come into agreement with varieties, but if we keep Krishna in the center, there will be agreement in varieties.
Okay. So this in and of itself is a powerful statement. Any thoughts on this?
Unity and diversity.
Okay, yeah, so variety and diversity. So variety means diversity. It means there's a variety of things. So it says that the materialist, without being able to adjust the varieties, right? Because sometimes we want to make things like we like it. We want to make people the way we want them to be, so then we can accept them. But we just talked about that in a community, you have to be able to appreciate and support those who are even different. So here, Prabhupada says that the materialists, because they can't adjust the varieties and the disagreements, they want to make everything zero, which means that there's also a philosophy that everything is nothing. And sometimes when we can't handle individuality and individual character, we'd rather believe that there is nothing, that individual characteristics and individuality and personalism actually is just a facade. It's not the ultimate thing. The ultimate thing is that we all become zero, nothing, void. Does that make sense? Maybe we've heard of some of these different philosophies. Yes, sir.
On the statement there, I also see another inherent important point.
Can you use the mic just so the people online can also hear? Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. On the statement, I see some importance that is kind of hidden in it. We are all here into this temple right now, and several minds are here. In the minds, we have diversity. But to say that Krishna is in the center, it doesn't mean that we're going to place deity of Krishna right in the center.
Okay. It doesn't mean that we
We're going to place a deity of Krishna in the center of this room.
Well, it kind of is.
But it does that, it's not the importance, but the point is the importance is to put Krishna in the center of me. And everybody's in the center of their inner bodies, inner centered core being existence. Then Krishna is in the center.
Lovely. Thank you. Nice point. And since you have the mic, would you like to read the next line? You can't really see it? Okay.
Well, I got an easy one.
Well, it gets longer. I'm just warming you up.
This is called Unity in Diversity. I am therefore suggesting that all our men meet in Mayapur every year during the birth anniversary of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With all GBC and senior men present, we should discuss how to make unity in diversity. But if we fight on account of diversity, then it is simply the material platform. Please try to maintain the philosophy of unity and diversity. That will make our movement successful.
Okay. Any thoughts?
It's a fabulous idea.
Thank you. You're pragmatic. I like that. Yeah, it's a great idea, right? That we all just accept each other and love each other because Krishna's in the center. But the fact of the matter is, it's not so easy, right? I mean, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, the idea of having a collaborative discussion rather than taking it out on each other on a daily basis makes a lot of sense. And I guess our politics has something like that, but I'm so sorry for bringing up politics, but it doesn't, we could argue how effective that is in the long run. But yeah, meeting in the middle, having a system where we meet in the middle, many programs, actually some employment environments have community meetings, just to bring up the word community again, where you meet together once a week in a community meeting where presumably you air out issues and give each other feedback and so forth. So something along those lines where you're hearing the other person's thoughts and then trying to come up with solutions and accommodations together on a consistent basis.
Yeah, beautiful. Or even maybe sometimes it's not even about a solution, it's just about understanding or accepting that there may be a different perspective or viewpoint on a certain situation. So it's not like I need to solve it. The solution is that I need to be able to accept that that exists and be, as we mentioned earlier, be able to value that and be able to support it and appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes?
I like how Prabhupada would say that you really show your love for me by how you cooperate with each other.
Yes.
So
Beautiful.
and then he said, read my books. So we really, which is like such an important thing, but it's also the hardest thing to do.
Okay. Good thing we're reading Prabhupada's book today. So here's another one. You can read since you've got the mic there.
Very soon, the chanting of Harinam Sankirtan will be spread all over the world. Oh, when will that day come when people from America, England, France, Germany, Russia will take up kartals and mridangas and chant Hare Krishna in their towns? When will that day come when the fair-skinned foreigners will come to Sri Mayapur Dham and join with the Bengali Vaishnavas to chant Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana? When will that day come?
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is one of the predecessors, actually he's up here on the wall above Srila Prabhupada, you can see at the end. So you could say he's almost like 4 generations back. And he was based in India, and he was visualizing and predicting that in the future, this will happen. All these fair-skinned foreigners, I think that means people kind of like me, will come from France and Germany, England and America, and they're going to dance and sing words that they never heard of before in their entire life. And they're going to do it in a jovial and in a joyful way. And guess what? It happened. It happened. It actually manifested. And he probably, and I don't have the exact date here, at one point I was looking into it, but he wrote this probably somewhere in the early 1900s, like that. Early 1900s he would have written this. He sent the first book, well actually came to us 1896, so it would have been early 1900s when he was kind of predicting this. Late 1800s, early 1900s. And it was around 1960, 1970 actually, probably 1971, 1972, when this actually manifested. They had a huge festival. And one of our senior members who was there, he remembers that they left their like area where they were celebrating, and they were having a parade where they were all singing and dancing, and they were going to this sacred holy spot. And when they were going, there was another group of Bengali devotees who were there, and they all kind of just joined together. They didn't know what was happening exactly, but it just manifested, and then they were all chanting, and then they started chanting Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, so like that. So here's another one. Who has the mic now? Oh, Chaitanya.
Bahu means many. Many combined together. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Combined together. All nations, all persons, they should combine together. There is hope in our society. Combination. There are Hindus, there are Muslims, there are Christians. There are black, white. Combine them. That looks very beautiful. Just like combination of many flowers. It is attractive and that is wanted, because from the spiritual platform we are all working. Pandita Samadarshana, spiritual platform. Every one of us, we are servant of Krishna.
Any thoughts on this? Combined, what do you think Prabhupada means by combined together?
The community.
The community, yeah. It doesn't mean we all merge into nothing or zero, like we blend in. But it means we come together as a community. And whenever I read this, as he says, looks very beautiful, just like a combination of many flowers. Right? So when you see a beautiful flower vase, it can be just roses, it could be just red roses, but if they're red and they're pink and there's yellow, then it becomes like a whole different thing. And then if they put the little white spray in there and they put it, and it's like, then it becomes even more beautiful when you have this combination of many varieties coming together. So Prabhupada says, it is attractive and it is wanted, because from the spiritual platform, we're all working. He doesn't mean that we're all working like a job. He means we're all working. We're all working from the spiritual platform. We're all functioning from the spiritual platform. So like that, then the Pandita Samadarshinaha. So this Sanskrit phrase means that a Pandit, or a learned person, he sees the same. Darshana means sees, and sama is like the English word same. So he sees everyone as the same or connected. Not like the same, exactly the same. There's still individuality, but he sees that inside we're all spiritual beings connected to the one original source. So back to that Janmadyasya Yataha, that everything is emanated from that one original source. So, we're going a little bit slower than I planned. I've only got 35 more slides, and I'm on number 9. So, what do you think are some of the challenges? We've read about the beautiful ideology or the vision of combining all together. So what do you think are some challenges? What do you think are some challenges? Things aren't always rosy, are they?
I think opposing opinions and perspectives.
Okay, beautiful. Of course, there's always seemed to be some opposing opinion or perspective, right? Anything else? Anyone?
Envy?
Envy. Someone says, yes, there's always a chance of there being some envy. Someone is envious. And why would there be envy? I don't know who said that, but the voice came from.
Misidentification.
Okay, that's a different one, right?
No, envy.
Envy because of misidentification. Okay.
Misappropriation.
Because we're seeing ourselves as the body and others as the body rather than the
Okay,
soul.
so we're seeing ourselves as the body, maybe the color of my skin, or the country of my birth, or intellectually I'm smarter than you, which is true anyway, Parster, you know that. And and I'm a man, and I mean, you're just a woman, right? And those kind of things exist, right? Those kind of opinions which are based on bodily designations. Yeah, and that breeds, whoever said it, envy. Yeah, anything else? What do you think are some other challenges? Yes.
Also, I think around opinions, whether it's like
Is the mic
political.
existing?
It's here, I
Okay.
just, oh.
Yeah, I had hoped that the MC or somebody was
Thank
gonna
you.
fix it.
Yes, along the lines of opinions, so whether it's political or, just even around looking at different backgrounds that people are from, it may be very different.
Yeah.
So then your worldview is somehow shifted, and yeah, those could be some challenges.
Beautiful. And behind you, Shandra.
I feel like this is maybe redundant, but just like judgment, like something I'm dealing with in my own life is like trying to be accepting of like other people in my life, but feeling like, oh, like the decisions you're making are so frustrating to me, and like not being able to hold that much like, space for it. And I know, like, I feel like I've heard that when you like get annoyed with somebody else, it's because like you're seeing something reflected in yourself that's like broken. So maybe all just coming from a place of brokenness can create difficulties in holding space for others.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's, I'll come to her first. No, if you can take it to the back, because Prabhuji's already said so much. He's just trying to keep things rolling. But what I was going to mention is, who here, just a quick question, who here has ever felt judged by someone? Be honest, raise your hand. You feel like someone judged you. Yeah. I didn't know you never felt judged? Yeah, amazing. I'm judging you right now, so, so you better raise your hand. So in general, now the real part of the question. Have you ever been judgmental about someone else? Raise your hand. And if you don't raise your hand, okay, thank you. Yeah, so it's a real interesting dynamic. And I remember one friend of mine once, he said that we always want people to give us the benefit of the doubt. You know, when we get caught out, we're like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Honestly, I really didn't. It didn't come from that place. Like, anyone's ever been like that? Like, you just try to explain it away. But when, and you just want them to give you the benefit of the doubt. Give me the benefit that maybe you didn't hear it correctly, and maybe I meant something else. But when we're on the other side, very rarely do we want to give benefit of the doubt to anyone else. So this is really at the heart of matters. So thank you for that. And yes, at the back. Please remind me your name again.
Christina.
Christina,
Good to see
thank
you again.
Nice to see you.
Generally, the ego is a huge challenge.
What ego?
That one.
Okay.
I think a lot of what everybody is saying is encompassed in the ego and our conditioning from our many different backgrounds, which are a beautiful asset in a community, but can also make people not jive as well with other people who may be very different. And I think of like the subway, that's one community. Every day, something new.
It's true.
Tensions rise.
Don't be
because
somebody's
everybody's different.
subway story, okay? Yes. Thank you, and yeah, I appreciated, especially when you said that this sort of individuality is our egos. They can be an attribute to the community, but it can also make it very difficult, right? So it's, someone told me years ago, if you're building teams, it's good to get diversity. The general tendency is we want to build a team where everyone thinks the same. You know, everyone thinks like me, especially if you're the leader of the team, you want everyone to agree with you, but it's really good to get people on your team who disagree. Because they often see things from a different perspective and can really help to add some spice, some masala to the program. Okay, so, did you want to say something? Okay, sure, you're okay? All right.
I have one thing.
Okay, you're burning, I can see, and even though I disagree and I don't have any ego whatsoever,
Okay, so Krishna speaks extensively about the modes of material nature, and so how we show up in community within the modes, within ourselves first, with the different modes of material nature, so ignorance, passion, and goodness, but then how even our perspectives can be influenced by the modes, and so, yeah, this is something that shows up also in our interactions, and so much of that judgment is coming from lower modes.
yes, yes. Thank you. Isn't it the truth? So here are a few challenges that we put up. Sometimes the race card is a challenge, yes. Prabhupada called the skin disease, right? We identify with the color of our skin, whatever that might be, and then that causes problems. Gender, that's a big topic. We're not going to open any of these up really yet, but nationality, which is slightly different, but same. Language creates a natural cultural barrier, you know, like that. Sexuality, big topic for discussion. Age, you know, I only hang out with young people because I'm young, you know. Only old people, whoever you are, you can go somewhere else. Or vice versa. Varna and ashram, which not everyone will understand, but it means what is our kind of social status, or what is our kind of career, you know, sort of our career, or where we're positioned, whether we're a student, or whether we're married, or whether we're retired, like that. And then the last one is, for us, can be gurus. So we have multiple gurus. So you have a different guru, so my guru, and people who are students of my guru, then we're like this. But if you're just a student of a different guru, then it can be something else. So what are some possible solutions? So I would go around and ask, but I'm running out of time. And in 7 minutes, those curtains are going to open, and Krishna's going to be in the center again. Right now he's hiding, and he's allowing me to be in the center. In a few moments, he's going to be back. So I'm going to share something with you that I find really, really inspiring for the idea of community. And it comes from one of our teachers. His name is Bhakti Tirtha Swami. So he passed away about 20 years ago. We were very fortunate to recently be at a memorial service for him. But when he was with us here, he was such a strong progenitor for communities and building communities. And he has 4 principles of community building. They're small, short sutras, but when you read them, they're like, wow, what do I think about that? So, who's holding on to the mic? The MC. Okay. So would you like to start to read again?
4 principles.
Not that one.
1, treat everyone you encounter as if the success or failure of your spiritual life depends on the quality of your interactions with them.
I'm just going to let that sit for a moment. Because you might have read it and they're like, okay, what's the next one? But no, this is really important. And I love to break things down, each word. So treat who?
Everyone.
Who's that?
Everybody.
That's everyone. So look around the room. Treat everyone that you encounter. And it doesn't just say everyone who's in the room. It says everyone you encounter. In the course of a day, how many people do we encounter? How many people do we bump into? You know, someone mentioned the subway. You're on the subway, someone bumps into you, like, or someone gets on. I mean, I got so many subway stories. It's like, why do people play music so loud? It's like, get some headphones. I was thinking, I'm going to buy some headphones and just pass them out to people, you know. People, you know, they vape, they smoke, all kinds of stuff. The other day, the carriage was so full of marijuana smoke that I thought, I'm definitely breaking the principles. I'm not going to show up. And it was the best mug of Marty I ever had, though, I'm going to tell you. But anyway, so how to treat everyone, even and especially the people who annoy us. And how are we encountering? As if the success or failure of my spiritual life depends on the quality of my interaction with them. Just to have that as a sutra, a metaphor, not a metaphor, what is the word? You get these little things you try to remember all day.
Affirmation.
An affirmation, thank you. Like to have that as an affirmation as we start to interact. You said you're youngest, right? And like imagine that you're.
I just texted my husband.
That's great. I was on the phone. That is amazing. So immediately you're like, okay, maybe I didn't deal with that. So number 2.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, yes. You have 22 seconds.
Mutual.
Yes.
About this mutual, the success of their spiritual life depends on mine too.
Okay. So you're saying the way that I interact with them may also help to determine the success or failure of their own spiritual life.
One person here, and we all look at him with this skilled divinity in you. He transforms, he melts.
Beautiful. Thank you for
I
sharing.
gotta get that because you can kind of be mean to someone and trigger them, right? And then they're like losing points, right? The little spiritual points in the game.
So you're trying to trigger them so they lose points. Is
Well,
that-
I'm not trying to.
Right. But
I
it
think
can
that's
happen.
you.
It can
That's
happen.
me, that's you.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, this is a bigger topic. We're gonna and like that. Okay. So number 2, who's reading? Kanto.
Think of the person you love the most and aspire to treat everyone with the same quality of love.
So just quickly, just think, who is the person that you just love? Like, you know, like, whatever I do, they got my back, and they're going to give, and I love them. I really love them. You know, think, who is that person? And then aspire to treat everyone with that same quality of love. Okay. Number 3. Who's got the mic?
But basically, number 2 is a complement of number 1. It's what I
Well,
said.
hopefully they're all
mutual.
complementary,
It's just what
yeah.
I said, mutual.
Yes.
Number 1. Number 2 came in to reaffirm what I just said.
Excuse me, Prabhu. I'm sorry, we only have 2 minutes left. I appreciate your input. It's wonderful. We want to just get these last points. Thanks.
Sorry. It's okay.
Number 3, view all conflicts as your own fault first.
So that was my fault, Prabhu, that there was any conflict. Everyone's got this one? Any conflict? Okay, what did I do to cause this? And I have a lovely story that I usually tell here, but I only have 1 minute. So, yeah. So it's a tough one. To see how have I also been the cause in this? I like to use the terminology, I own 100% of 50% of the problem. And I have to own up to my 100% or 50% of this problem. The other person may have 50% also, because it takes 2 to tango, but I have to own 100% of my own part. And I have had a part to play in this somehow or other.
Accountability.
Huh?
Accountability.
Accountability, thank you, beautiful. Okay, and number 4?
Realize that people in your present environment might very well be the people with whom you will live out your life and who are likely to be with you at the time of death.
Yeah, there you go. Just think. Exactly. Just think how who do you want there at the time when you leave? You want to be surrounded by people who love you and whom you love. So we have to create that environment because it is quite likely, and anyway, we have lots of stories that we tell with each of these. So I'm going to carry on because she's walking a little slow to the altar, and I'm going to speed up the way that I talk, so I'm talking a little quicker now. So, nourishing community. So we have to create these nourishing environments in community. And I'm just going to share a little something quickly about some stuff that's coming up for our community, which is nourishing. Because nourishment, often when I think of nourishment, I think it comes from Mother. Mother Nature nourishes us, and mothers nourish us. So there is a statement by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who we spoke about earlier. He said, I observe with great care the holy days like Ekadasi and Janmashtami, for they are the mothers of devotion. Bhakti Janani. Bhakti Janani. This is from the song Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, so he says observe many festivals. So we have some wonderful festivals that are coming up, and I'd like to encourage everyone to become active and participate in those festivals. Be here. Be active in whatever way you can in these festivals. So thank you very much. The curtains are going to open now.
Thank you. Archie and Chris Hannah will just clear away the mats and the chairs. Stick around with a couple of announcements after, and Prashad, sanctified vegan lunch.
Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Om Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Giradhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kali, Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Maravida Ki Jai, Gaura Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai, Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Thai Gaura Premanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, to Lord Sri Shri Guru and Shri Guranga, glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Lada Jayine. Prahlada Jayine. Hiranyakashi Purvaksha. Hiranyakashi Purvaksha. Shiratankanakaraye, Shiratankanakaraye, Ito nisingho, Karato nisingha, Ito nisingho, Karato nisingha, Yato yato yami, Yato nisingha, Yato yato yami, Yato nisingha, Adir nisingha, Hridaye nisingha, Adir nisingha, Hridaye nisingha, Nisingha Madim Sharanam Prabhade, Nisingha Madim Sharanam Prabhade, Avatara Kamadavade, Nakamatuta Sringam, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Kanubengam, Mekavrita, Yada Hari Rupa, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Avatara Kamarabhage, Nakamatuta Sringam, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Kanubengam, Krishna Krishna Hare Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Prahlabara 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 Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Sri Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai Mahamantra Ki Jai Bhakti Center Dhamma Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol
Okay, thank you very much for attending another edition of Bhakti Center Sunday morning Bhagavat Sravana program. Again, we're here every Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, kirtan till 11:30, the class, the art tea, and then prashadam. So before we get to the prashadam, by the way, it was the last song was the Shinga prayers. Those are prayers for protection. We chant for protection. And the Mahamantra that we chant most of the time, those are prayers for deliverance. Deliver us, please, from this endless cycle of birth and death in the material world, where there's some good times and some beauty. But as Jai Nitai pointed out, it always comes with a price. There's always suffering and loss too. So when we deliver from that consciousness into spiritual consciousness, pure spiritual consciousness, where there's no suffering and no loss whatsoever. Haribol. So at the very, very end, as he was being rushed off of the Vyasasana, Jai brought up the festivals that are coming up. There are indeed many festivals starting next week. And on Monday, the 4th of August, is the Julan Yatra Festival. Julan Yatra is a beautiful festival, one of my favorites actually. So we take the small children, Murli and we place them in a swing. And weather permitting, we're on the roof of this very building. And everybody gets a chance to swing them on that swing. It's a very sweet, loving pastime. If the weather doesn't cooperate, that will happen here in the temple room. That will happen every evening next week, Monday through Friday. And Friday brings us to Balaram Jayanti, which is the appearance day of Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is the elder brother of Sri Krishna. And there's a wonderful festival here. Is that in the evening?
Yes.
Is it in the evening? Yeah. Okay, so that's next Friday evening. And then on August 16th is the Janmashtami festival. Janmashtami is the appearance day of Sri Krishna. When Krishna, who is God, appeared in this world, seemingly as another human being. God bless you. Speaking of God. The day after Janmashtami is August 17th. That's the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada. He took birth and he was born into this world the day after Krishna appeared. Of course, hundreds of years later, thousands of years later. But Prabhupada was born in 1896, left this world in 1977. We celebrate Appearance Day every year. And then a week after that, on August 31st, 2 weeks after, thank you, 2 weeks after that, August 31st, is Radhastami. So Krishna, you see here holding the flute, he is the masculine aspect of God. And right next to him, holding her hand out, is the feminine aspect of God. Srimati Radharani. We celebrate her appearance on August 31st. Okay? So I hope you'll be able to join us for one or all of those festivals. It's hard, it's a lot of stuff to take in. So you can go to bhakticenter.org, which is the website, and find out about these festivals. And you can even sign up for the newsletter, which will come to you, or the WhatsApp group, which will come to you, reminding you about these festivals. Okay? So that's it. So now the prasadam is being served. Prasadam is essentially a word that means the mercy of God. So the food is, something we have to do every day is eat. So we offer the food first to Krishna, Radha Krishna, and we therefore spiritualizes the food. It becomes the mercy of God. So that is being served at the rear of the temple room right now. And you can take your full satisfaction. It is all vegan. It's offered with love to God, and God reciprocates by spiritualizing it. So please take that prasadam right now and enjoy. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.